Welcome to the Spinoso podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso, and this is the Spinoso podcast. Just trying a short thing there, not going very long. That's it.
That's it. You
You have an
found it.
interesting outfit. What is this today? This is a turtleneck.
Cozy sweater with
It's a cozy
some
setup,
air.
but it's cut in the shoulders.
Yeah, creates good airflow.
That seems like the dumbest invention ever made.
You know what? When
'Cause-
I put this on, I actually was thinking about. I taught Elia to say she's cozy.
Okay.
So now she's always like, if she puts on a sweatshirt or gets under the covers, she's always like, "I'm so cozy." And I was like, this thing feels cozy, even though it's a little like airy.
Yeah, but if you go outside like it is today and it's fucking 21 degrees, like all you end up is cold shoulders and probably cold boobs because it's got like a full draft across the shoulders.
Will keep me from
That
sweating.
just makes no sense. Like you'll have a hot neck and torso, but your shoulders like this
I don't think
this
I've
area
ever thought about having a hot neck.
will be freezing. Well, your neck will be hot because you got the freaking turtleneck all the way up to your chin like Queen Victoria, but then you got your shoulders out that are just like left to the frozen tundra. You're gonna end up with shoulder pain. Yeah.
Great.
You're gonna have shoulder pain and cold boobs. That
I
seems
was
like the
recent-
worst invention.
I was recently telling my sister.
I'm gonna make a sweater, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fucking cut holes in it. That makes sense.
Well, it kind of does have holes in it all throughout.
Well, yeah, it's a sweater. I mean, it's a knit sweater.
I was
They like knitted holes into the sweater, like giant shoulder holes. Yeah.
I was recently telling my sister about my relationship with you, and I said it's very interesting dynamic because sometimes he scares the shit out of me if I bring something up and he's challenging me, and then I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have said anything. And then sometimes I just get mad and I respond and I shouldn't respond. And then other times he teases me like he's my brother.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's so good for you. I was like, I think he is too.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Because my brother would probably say the exact same thing.
Oh, it's just a weird design.
Yeah, he would be on my case.
What people buy is crazy. That just should show you right there, guys. You can make money literally doing anything and making anything because people will buy it for sure. There's always something out there to make money with. For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Let's get into this. What are we talking about today?
Well, today
My alma mater.
we're going to talk about the Dartmouth cancellation, how to handle criticism and stay true to yourself. So something that you've hinted at before in previous podcasts, but we haven't went into fully and deeply is your Dartmouth cancellation story.
Let's do it.
And so during COVID,
Yep.
you had really strong opinions about some things that were going on from the medical space,
Those masks.
mandates, and the way leadership had handled public health issues and some of the messaging around it. So what you've hinted at before is your old fraternity brothers, some of them didn't like it and they tried to cancel you, went after you, and they started making a lot of noise about it. And so today we're going to unpack what caused that situation, what you learned from the whole experience, and then how you were standing firm on your beliefs, dealing with the criticism, which people do get. So what happens when criticism comes? How do you handle yourself? How do you move forward when people are after you and decide that they don't like what you stand for?
Yeah. And this is not, I mean, when we talk about that, this isn't going to be like, oh, the haters hating on me sort of podcast. And you'll find out like this whole thing was just essentially a bunch of fucking retards who have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And data always proved in the end me right. And I created a series about it called I Told You So on Facebook. So you can scroll back and read those. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So the story goes, this is in the middle of COVID. I had done, and we were currently doing at that point, applying for Emergency Use Act stem cells to be able to help go into the hospitals and treat clientele. We had a whole bunch of data proving that stem cells in the past were really good for respiratory illnesses, respiratory damage, etc., which we obviously knew this was a part of that disease. And what I did notice was everybody starting to wear and suggest these fucking masks. Now, droplet precautions, I get it, they didn't know how it was spread, but they were saying that your ability to contract or spread COVID was greatly reduced with masks. Now, I don't want to get into the science of it, but as an overall aspect of it, masks do not fucking protect you from a virus. A virus can pass freely in and out of a mask. It doesn't fucking matter. And masks are used in surgical cases and things like that. So you end up not spitting into somebody's body while you're doing surgery or getting something sprayed into your mouth. At the same time, during COVID, they were trying to make it like a respiratory, they were showing that it was a respiratory illness, but telling everybody to wear masks to reduce their transmission, which is just scientifically fucking stupid. And so I did a 5-minute video about how it's fucking dumb that we had to walk down one way in the aisle of grocery stores and how it was stupid that people had to wear masks outside and stupid that people were getting arrested out in the middle of the fucking ocean for spreading COVID and all this bullshit overlord garbage. And then I saw a lot of medical professionals kind of parroting whatever the fuck was normal to say that week and all this crap, and I wasn't willing to do that. But now, before I spoke out publicly, at the same time, I did my fucking research. I knew exactly how masks work, why were they invented, all this crap, and I went through the facts, I went through the ethics, I went through the experience of what I've done before because I actually had experience in it, and then I spoke out. So the rule really should be, and this should be in the world in general, and I wish we had this rule. Don't open your fucking mouth until you actually have done the research and you've opened your mind and you've figured out both sides of the story. Because and I hate the way that the world is right now in that, for example, you can report a provider to any medical board, make up a lie, and that medical board will investigate you, and if found to be, again, not guilty because they're making shit up, that was the whole premise of the story, you can't do anything back to them. It's the same with these cases in the past where we've seen more and more like football players get their world destroyed for allegations of rape, from a female. And then 10 years later, 20 years later, they say, oh, they made it all up.
Mm.
And you can't do anything back to that person. If somebody sues you, yeah, you can countersue for the most part, but when it comes to like medical boards and reporting and stuff like that, you can't actually counter sue anybody. You can't counter argue anybody. You can defend your case, but you're pretty much guilty until you prove your own innocence, which absolutely in today's world is bullshit.
Yeah.
I feel like if you lie and you make shit up, like as soon as we would not have fucking, we would not have fucking people stealing. We would probably not have murder. The crime rate would be way down if literally if you lied, you go back. Let's go back to old school fucking Middle East that people might think is crazy here. If you fucking lie and you try and get somebody in trouble and you're found out that you're lying, get your fucking hand chopped off.
Yeah.
Fucking straight up. Don't fucking lie. Don't be a piece of shit to try and ruin somebody else's life because you know that there's gonna be no repercussions.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody raped a child, fucking kill him.
Mhm.
If somebody, steals, chop a hand off. I guarantee there'll be a lot fucking less murder, a lot fucking less people stealing, a lot less crime. I mean, there'll just be none of that because people will know that there's fucking repercussions for shit.
Yeah.
And if people are like, "Oh, that's too much." Well, do you fucking lie and steal and cheat and fucking report people? No, then you don't have anything to fucking worry about.
Yeah.
You fucking don't. But if you do, you should be fucking worried every day about breaking the fucking law.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, that's the health board too, is the same way because when I had my academy in Ohio, it was a permanent makeup and advanced skincare academy. One of my previous employees called the health department and they had to come and it was anonymous. I eventually figured out who it was, but they come out, they do the inspection, everything's fine. I don't know if they like put it out in the public, like here's the report, we
Yeah.
didn't find anything.
Mhm.
She calls again the next day. Every time they get a call, they have to come
Yeah.
investigate. 5 days in a row. They were out by, like, day 3, I was like, "You have to be kidding me. Are we
Yeah,
doing this again? You
yeah,
didn't find anything the last 2 days. Like, why do you how many days do you have to come do this?"
yeah.
So by day 5, they said they found non-sterile it is for dermaplaning razors in a back supply cabinet in a box, which
Mm,
they did because I bought the wrong ones
yeah,
on accident,
yeah,
and I never used them because they weren't
yeah,
sterile.
yeah, yeah.
So, I guess I didn't throw them away either, but I wasn't using them. They were like she told them, "Go look in this box in the back." So that's where and then they were like, "Okay, we found something."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Does she get in trouble for this? Like, she's wasting your time, she's
Yeah,
wasting my
yeah.
time." It's wild.
No, it's
It's so
absolutely wild.
wild.
No, we I had to sit in front of the medical board in Nevada because an ex-employee that we fired, because she was late every fucking day, said that we were shredding documents and clinical records to hide from the FBI. We have an electronic medical record, you dumb bitch. Like, the fuck you talking about? Literally.
Yeah.
It's dumbest fucking thing.
So she got fired for being late, and then that's what she
Yeah, yeah, that's what people do.
Oh,
But again,
okay.
again, you should do that. You get fired for being late, you report it, you're found not guilty, you lose a fucking finger. You got 10 fucking people to lie about. 10 people to lie about.
Yeah.
People won't fucking lie. I guarantee it. They won't lie, they won't cheat, they won't fucking steal. Period. So, going back to the story, don't open your mouth until you fucking know what the fuck you're talking about. Period. Two things in this world I fucking hate. Liars and people tell me I'm fucking a liar. Those are the two fucking things I hate. Don't fucking go in a meeting and be like, I just had this out with with a vendor the other day that was like, "Oh no, there's no way that that could have happened." Well, motherfucker, like go check their data. And he's like, "Well, if that would have happened, people are going to get fired." Well, he went and checked, and guess what? He didn't fire the person who was supposed to do it because it's his ex-wife. So, that being fucking said, look, guess what? I wasn't fucking lying. That's just it.
Mm.
And so, know what you're talking about before you open your mouth. And you can't call something out just on emotion. You call something out based off the facts. Make sure your boldness is backed up with facts. And I had facts, and I had data, and I had proof. Period. And all the people that came at me, all the people that talked and said, "No, that's not really true." They were just parroting stuff that they had heard online, parroting stuff that they had heard on the news, parroting stuff that, Anthony Fauci and his crew had talked about, which they were the ones who created it and were in on it. So, data shows, I'm not saying anything that's made up. You can literally go look at it.
Mhm.
And so, that being said, the was there, and they just parroted things. They just said the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, totally. How do you I mean, with social media, people are quick to fire things off. What do you think made people, like, forget to, like, pause and check into this stuff and really know what they're talking about before they post their opinion online?
The fact that you can be a big man online and not get punched in the mouth for it. If you go back when before Instagram and social media and Facebook or whatever, you had to actually say your opinions outright in front of somebody else because nobody else would be able to hear it. You could hear it over the phone, yeah, but in person, there isn't this like you could be a completely different person online and nobody would ever know who you were in real life. Like back then, everything was in person. Your word was your bond. That's what I grew up with in my house. Your word's your bond. What comes out of your mouth is your bond. And that being said, it's the same with other people. Like in the past, you say something, someone will pop you right in the fucking mouth. Period.
It's easy to hide
It's
behind.
easy to hide behind,
Absolutely.
social media and Instagram and anonymous postings and all this crap that people have allowed.
Yeah.
That's BS. And so that's I think what has perpetrated this is that everybody can be real tough online.
Where do you think the line is between people who just wanna stir things up for attention
Yeah.
and people who are actually speaking truth for a purpose?
Doesn't matter. Like, I think in the end, more recent studies have shown that no matter what you say on Instagram, on social media, on any platform in general, if somebody disagrees with you, there is zero chance that that person will change their mind based off of what you wrote online. 0 chance. Like, it wasn't like, "Oh, there's a 0.1% chance." It was 0. In fact, people were I think it was if arguments happen, it increased and solidified their position on the matter like 5x.
I think I've seen that.
So, no matter what, like, you're going to never be able to convince anybody online of anything. That's it. You're never gonna be able to convince anyone online of anything in any manner.
Which is so wild because people get so drawn into it.
They
I
do.
read the comments of stuff and I'm like, "I
And it's
cannot believe the online fights."
yeah, and if you realize that, then social media just becomes fun because all you do is just poke the bear and just make engagement go up because people will just angrily type all day long at you. But I mean, you just have to realize that whatever I post, I realize that if somebody disagrees with it, I'm never going to convince them of otherwise. If I comment on something on someone else's, I have my own bias that they're probably never going to be able to convince me of otherwise.
Yeah,
And that's just life. And the way the algorithm is built and the way that the thing is designed is to keep you on the system and to keep you engaged. And the more you type, the more engaged you are, the longer you stay on the system. So the more angry you get, the more you're gonna stay there. That's what they want you to do. They want you to stay super angry and hate everyone and state your opinion on everybody else's post, so all they do is send you clickbait and the algorithm to make you hate your life, period. That's literally how they do it.
mhm.
That's the whole purpose of it. It's the same with casinos and the way that they change the lights and the colors and the sounds to increase dopamine so that you would stay there longer. The same as pumping oxygen into the casinos, so and removing all the clocks so nobody ever knows what time it is and you stay up.
Yeah.
The same in social media. The whole point is little bouts of dopamine over and over and over to get
Mhm.
you hooked and to keep you there. And so it's always going to send you stuff that is controversial.
When it comes to this, going back to the Dartmouth situation
Hmm.
and the cancellation or the desire to cancel you and come after you, the next point really is about acting with your core values, acting from your core values, even if it costs you.
Right.
And how did you tap into your core values in this situation to speak something that you felt should be spoken?
Look, if you always act based off your core values, it's never going to cost you. What it's going to cost you in that definition is not going to cost you in the long run. In the short run, it might cost you friends, it might cost you colleagues, it might cost you people in your life. But if you really think about it, if it cost you those people over an opinion, over a thought, or over an idea, um, that isn't hurting anybody else. Like, were they really friends or colleagues or people you wanted to be around anyways? No, the answer is fuck no. I tell my wife all the time with my kids, like, because we are talking about schooling and higher level of education and what we should do with them and them being around other people and stuff like that, just in general, other kids. And I'm like, I don't fucking care if they're, because they're their little gang. And she's like, well, I'd like them. The teachers say it split them up so they could be their own person and whatever and stuff like that. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. I don't care. Like, they're the only people we have in this world is going to be immediate family. And again, we've got extended family who is to a lesser degree, and then we've got employees and family and part of that with the companies. But that being said, they're gonna only have each other when shit hits the fan and when shit goes down and all that crap, and most of their friends are going to leave their life because they're going to be,
Mhm.
probably high-level individuals, high-level professionals, or crackheads, which either swings both ways. The friends leave you either way, whether you're a crackhead or a high-level individual. And you don't I'm sorry, this is gonna sound harsh. You don't need fucking friends. They're not gonna have the same friends at 5 years old that they had at 35 because they're actually doing shit. They're actually growing. They're actually leaving their hometown. They're actually going somewhere and building businesses and meeting new people. So, it's if you always act according to your core values, it's gonna cost you the shitty people around you. And that's just it. I had my brotherhood at Dartmouth, and the people that I knew at Dartmouth was just a bunch of shitty people just waiting to be their shit selves. So when they tried to cancel me, like, what hit me wasn't that they disagreed, is that they were so vehemently against my thought when I had gone to fucking school for it. And actually, there were some doctors who did it as well, and they're congrats, you're still working in the hospital. Cool. Have fun with that. They haven't built anything outside of their, going to the hospital every single fucking day the rest of their life. Like, cool. Have fun. But look, if you're gonna do anything, if you're gonna stand up for anything, you have to do it according to your core values. And I saw early on, again, this bullshit with masks, this bullshit with arrests, the bullshit with like keeping kids inside and crap
Mm.
like that, and how much it was gonna mentally screw people up, and it did. At the end of the day, I have to look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, well, did I speak out when everybody was doing bullshit? Or did I, save my own ass save my own ass, and in the end, is that how I'm gonna be every single time that somebody says something wrong or I have to stand up for it? Like, am I gonna just allow it to happen? No. I'm gonna protect my fucking family until I die.
Yeah.
And if I have to kill you because 'cause you're in my way of protecting my family, I guess it's just gonna have to be you or me. That's it. And it's the same with this crap, like, you should be acting according to your core values only. If you're not acting in alignment with your core values, it will manifest as, uh, actual symptoms. I mean, we see people all the time that have literally lied to us, cheated us, stole from us, Brent and myself, and they come up with all these weird symptoms like, I'm in the hospital for anxiety, or I have chest pain, or I have headaches, or I have this or that. Yeah, it's because you're being a piece of shit, like literally. And I think I believe it was Jim Carrey who said it, where depression manifests when you are acting as somebody that you're not.
Mm.
I think he has that, because he's been very open about his, like, mental health and issues and stuff like that, and that world, acting in general is a rough world, but he talked about it that way. If you are consistently incongruent with who you are and lying to the outside world, guess what? Somebody's gonna find out at some point. Mostly, it's gonna be your kids. Your kids are gonna are gonna be the first people to find out that you're full of shit.
Yeah.
For sure, and then people around you will find out, and then it just snowballs from there, and there's no coming back from that, really.
Mm. Along the lines of someone doing something that they know isn't right and it lands in the body. There's experiences of the body that tell you if things are aligned or not.
Mhm.
I recently heard about Leon Festinger,
Mm,
and he wrote a book, I think it was 1957, about the theory of cognitive dissonance.
mhm.
And it was all about people, the impacts of believing one thing and doing something else,
Yep,
and what happens in the body. And that this is, a theory, but also shown that when you're acting out of alignment, you're going to know.
yep.
You're going to know. Whether it's disease, mental issues, things like that. That's one thing I know. There's oddly, I have figured out over the years, if I'm holding negative energy or impeding beliefs around money, my sciatica starts like flaring up, and I'll get all this like pain down my leg or my lower back.
Mhm,
It's the first thing I look at.
mm,
If I feel that, I'm like, okay, where are my hindering beliefs around finances, money? Like I need to clean that up
yeah,
because what I'm believing is causing a response.
yeah.
And the body there's
Literally a pain in your ass.
yeah, it's a pain in my ass.
There you go.
Exactly. There's another book about that. The body always holds the truth or something, and it's, about things that you experience physically and
Yeah,
what it could mean. And so in this case, how do you keep from taking what those people said about you
mhm.
and not taking it personally?
The question is 100% no for every single person.
Do you think that's, like, not caring what they say? But then how do you separate it from taking it personally? Like,
I don't
you
take it
might
personally because they don't pay my bills,
okay.
so they're not allowed to have an opinion on my life or
So
anything I
would
rant
that
at,
be like, then nobody can have an opinion if you're the only one?
pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the way you could think about it. That's literally the way I think about it.
Huh.
Because opinions are just like assholes. Everyone has them, and most of them fucking stink. That's just how it is. Like, it
Yeah.
is everybody's there is a difference between thoughts and then the word, like, just generalized opinion. Like, again, when you think about it that way, because you're specifically talking, the way the question was asked was like how to not take it, personally, or turn into personal, is that no matter who it is in your life, no matter who it is in your life, if that person does not pay your bills directly, then their opinion in the end should not really fucking matter to you. It shouldn't. Like, the only if you work for someone else, then that person's opinion should matter to you because they're paying your bills directly. But otherwise, if somebody is not directly paying your bills, like, it's okay to just ignore them.
Mm.
It's okay to not take it personally. It's okay to not care about what they have to say. That's okay. You're a human. You're allowed to do that. And it makes it really easy in the end. Because again, we're talking specifically in this, how do you block out essentially those people who have the opinions and not make it personal? You just simply go back to the question right away. Okay, is this person paying my bills? No. Well, then all the personalness is out the door because there's no direct like connection to them in your life. They might be a family member. Are they paying your bills? No. Okay. No matter what they say is not going to have an effect on your life directly.
Yeah.
No matter what, and most of the time, no matter what they do, is not going to have a effect on your life directly. And again, we're cutting it down really to money. And I would even take it a step further and argue that those are really the only people whose opinions that matter are people who are giving you money or paying you for your job. Because other than that, nobody outside is going to be able to, if you let them, if you don't let them, nobody outside can directly affect how much money you're making. They can directly affect, how you think about yourself. They can directly make you think one way or another. They can directly tell you what to do in your life or your job. Nobody can do that except for somebody who's paying you. And if you're at the top and you're the one paying yourself, then nobody's opinion should be able to harm you in that way.
Yeah.
So you should always go back to that. Where it's like, okay, if you're at the top, then no, it doesn't matter. But if you're working for someone else, the only person who really matters in the end is the person who's paying your money, is paying you money to do your job. Otherwise, everyone else's opinion that doesn't pay the bills directly, you should be able to eliminate them from your thoughts. And that might sound harsh, but guess what? You're born alone and you die alone. Like, it's not a group effort. Twins and triplets and shit like that, I guess you get born together,
Yeah.
but they still will die at different times. Like, it's not a group project for the most part when it comes to those parts. So all the parts in between, people start to think like, okay, there has to be some group projects to this. To a degree, yeah, but not everybody gets to have an opinion about your life or about things or about anything in your life. And again, they're not paying your bills. I take it personally.
Yeah. I think in this situation too, like your posts and communication around the situations revolving COVID and all the things we've discussed puts in front of people that the narrative they've been spreading, believing, bought into, perpetuating
Yep.
is makes them wrong.
Oh yeah.
And I think anytime you show somebody that they're wrong, that's a hard pill to swallow because that person then has to go back and try to make amends
Yep.
for all of the things associated with what they were doing that now maybe wasn't the best way to do it. That's a big gap and that's uncomfortable. So
Yep.
people would rather stay in the justified I'm right, you're wrong
Yep.
mentality because that's more comfortable. And now I don't have to look at my own integrity and all the things I've done, all the times I've told patients, all the times all the things. It's a lot. Typically, when you believe something as strong as people did during COVID and, major things in life, we see this a lot. When people are so convicted that
Mhm.
what they're saying is the truth, to then expose them to, "No, that isn't the truth." So people would rather stay comfortable because
Yeah.
very uncomfortable. And so that's one of the things that I think about when I have a negative opinion about me that comes up, or somebody says something that not agreeing with what I agree with, or, whatever the situation is. I recognize that there is a whole lot of belief, life experience, and integrity of their own that is a part of whatever their opinion or belief is about
Mhm.
me.
Mm.
And that's not about me at all, actually. It's about all other things. So living at that level of integrity is not a place. When we talked in a previous podcast about 1% of people can work from home, I think it's probably less than 1% of people live at the level of integrity that they're willing to actually see what they've done that was wrong
Mhm.
and then want to make amends for it so that they can create alignment again for their life and for their relationships and move a different direction. And there's a lot of times in life, if we really want to be honest with ourselves, we can say, "Well, I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know if that's true. You don't know if that's true. Here's my belief on it.
Mhm.
If something happens and I realize that I was wrong, then I have to see what that looks like to realign with people that I maybe have impacted in a
Mhm.
negative way."
Mhm.
That's not easy to do. And most people don't look that deep because it's just easier to ignore it.
Yep.
But I think the more people are out of integrity, I think that's where you end up getting a lot, my personal opinion. I think this is where you end up getting a lot of like addiction, abuse, things like that, because it's just a way to lessen the feelings. Because the more out of alignment you are, the more out of integrity you are, you got to cover that shit up because your body tells you.
Yep.
Your body tells you the truth.
Mhm.
So, anyway,
Absolutely.
acting according to your core values and not taking things personally. Acting in accordance to your core values speaks to being aligned.
Yep.
What you say and what you do and what you believe, it's all congruent.
Yep.
When you're out of that, it's just a yucky place to live. I have a lot of compassion for people that come from that place because I'm like, man, every day you live in that energy and that feeling and that vibration. That's gotta suck.
Mhm.
That's gotta suck. Like, I'm gonna go over here and be my happy little self, and no, that sucks for you because
Yep.
I'm not the only person you're acting that way toward.
Yep.
And so, anyway, this is kind of fun because I feel like a lot of people pretend to have haters because they want to be more important than they actually are. But
Yeah.
I do think great people do end up having haters. You're
Yeah.
not going to have everybody that loves you. Not going to have everybody that agrees with everything you're doing. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like when you're great at something, you do have polarizing opinions. You do hold a stance on something, and there's going to be people who don't agree with that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've got uh Elon Musk has haters, you got Jesus Christ that had haters, you got MLK that had Martin Luther King Jr. had haters. If you're really standing for something and trying to push something, there's going to be people that hate you. There's going to be 50% of people that just don't like you because they've never met you and your online persona just rubs them the wrong way and they're just not going to like you for any reason whatsoever. And I gotta tell my wife this all the time. It's like people will just hate you for who you are. People will hate you because of how you look. It's a crappy part of life. And guess what? Who cares in the end? Because they're still gonna hate you. No matter what you try and do, they're still probably gonna hate you. And so if you stand for something meaningful, you're going to end up offending someone, especially someone who doesn't stand for anything and never has stood for anything. And that's going to be part of life. So, look, your job isn't to be everyone's favorite in life. Your job is literally just to make sure that you're taking care of the people around you are taken care of and you contribute to society. You're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. Criticism is gonna be normal. I mean, we've had team members in Genesis criticize how Brent and I do things and what we do and why we do things, even though they're working for us. That's okay. That's normal. You're gonna have that. So don't expect to be at the tippy top or the leader or build anything great without people having consistent criticism and consistently looking at what and trying to find what you're doing wrong. That's going to be just part of it. That's going to be part of life. That's going to be part of being great. That people will have opinions on what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. And you filter out those opinions and
Mm.
you could take the opinions of people that you want to take the opinions of. But again, remember, if they're not going to directly affect your pay and it bothers you, it should be pay them no mind because they can't do anything to directly affect your pay or they really can't.
This is an interesting thing because, there's people that you come across or see online and there's no resistance or draw to the person. They're there, they're this person, and then you're moving on,
Yep.
right? But when there's a heavy resistance to somebody, I often think about an archetype. There must have been somebody in their life before that I remind them of.
Mm.
That they didn't like,
Yeah, that could be
or
true.
they had a negative experience
Yeah.
with, or there's something there because why would like, there would be no stickiness to things I'm doing
Yep.
if you didn't have some sort of emotional connection to some past experience
Mhm.
that maybe doesn't involve me, but maybe involves somebody who looks like me,
Right?
or wears
Yeah,
their shoulders out.
also has weird shoulder slices in their sweaters.
So, you gotta think about that too, but it really might not have anything to do with you, why people like you or don't like you.
Yeah.
Just maybe
It could just be
somebody
that
from their
stupid
past.
sweater you're wearing.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so, yeah, so it makes me think about that, like, maybe there was somebody before
Mm.
that really isn't me, but that you don't like because of that. And the other thing, love him or hate him, Donald Trump says things that I think people react so much to because he says the shit a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah, he's
But
just
he
got
just
the dude's got no filter.
yeah.
Yeah.
So some of the things that come out of his mouth that people have the biggest response to, I'm like, you were probably thinking that.
Yeah. Could've, yeah, for
So it's
sure.
uncomfortable
Yep.
because it's like, man, I don't know if I should have thought that or, and then you hear somebody say it and it's like, oh, they're a terrible person. But
Yep.
on the inside, you're kind of like,
Yep.
maybe I thought the
I
same
agree
thing.
with that. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So separating the critics from people who truly care.
Mm.
I think that's an important part of this. When you're talking about the Dartmouth guys and how they're coming after you and they're criticizing you,
Mhm.
there is a different energy
Mhm.
that that comes with than somebody who truly came to you from a caring place. Like, hey, let's talk about this.
Yep.
Let's, is I saw this. That's what I think about this. How do you how do you handle tough love?
Mhm.
I mean, I know you're saying people who don't pay your bills have no, you take their opinions very lightly, but
Yeah.
how do you handle, let's say, tough love versus like toxicity, like in haters, which is what we're talking about with the Dartmouth guys. But what if somebody came to you that
Mhm.
felt like tough love? They were saying what they needed to say. Maybe Steph does this to you. I'm not sure, but how do you handle that? Do you take tough love differently?
Does this person live in this house, and do they make more than me? Those are the 2 things. If the person lives in this house, yes, they can have an opinion. If the person makes more than me, yes, they can have an opinion. Other than that, sorry, you're shit out of luck. And that's how I filter it out right away. It makes it the decisions and the choices and the opinions very, very simple. If somebody wants to come and say, "Hey, I see this character flaw in you," and blah 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 blah, like, but I'm struggling to pay my bills. Okay, thanks. Obviously, that character flaw isn't so bad because my life is okay. A random family member that doesn't live in this house that I don't have to deal with every single day or don't interact with every single day. again, thanks for your opinion. You had your chance to live your life. You go live it over there. I don't care about what you have to say. And so it's not about like, oh, well, you should listen to constructive criticism more, and stuff like that. Maybe in another time, another place, another life, or whatever. But sorry, I don't have time to listen to your constructive criticism if you haven't done better than me and you don't live in this house. I have a very finite amount of time that I can take listening to somebody else. But at the same time, those people who I do respect in my life, the people who have built huge businesses and I would take advice from, because people aren't just giving you random fucking advice. Like at that level, at our level, people don't just call you up and give you random fucking advice. I'm sorry, you don't. You're going and looking for that advice. You're not getting unsolicited advice. Like I would never call one of my friends up who I saw was doing well or growing and had like a few flaws in their attitudes or whatever and say fucking anything.
Yeah.
Because it obviously is working for that person. I don't care. Like they're doing great. I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna call one of my mentors and be like, "Hey, I think you should really fix this." No, I don't give a shit. At this level, we all want to win together.
Mm,
So it's not like we're correcting each other's flaws. We've all built big things that has obviously worked for us. So why fuck it up?
mhm,
Why tell somebody else that they're doing something wrong? Like, and that was actually a funny thing that I learned from my mentor, that I didn't make that same mistake. He says and has said that he listened to everybody's opinion on how he should act or who he should be. And guess what? He suffered internally.
mm.
His business suffered significant losses, and they almost, had issues going on. They almost went under because he listened to everybody else's opinion and their thoughts. So I take advice from him in terms of, if the person does not live in your house and if they are not doing better than you, so they could tell you, hey, I had this same problem. This is a gap that you have in who you are as a person or what you're doing or how you're doing it. Like, I would take advice from Elon Musk, from Jeff Bezos, from Donald Trump, from, anybody left or right, Republican or Democrat or whatever, who was doing better than me.
Yeah.
I would take advice from them
I'll
because they're doing better than me.
I also think at this level, you brought up a good point that you're not just like getting a call with random advice.
Yeah.
I think at this level, though, people have gotten to this level because they're self identifying. Like, you're gonna end up figuring out things that aren't working in your own life.
Yep.
You don't need somebody else to call you and be like, yo, bro,
Yeah.
don't do that. Like, you're aware of your own behavior and the impacts of that. That's why you've gotten as far as you have. So you're going to be able to look at those things and go like, "Hey, I don't think this thing is working for me. I need to grow. I need to get better." And then you're just going to make those improvements as you need to. And that's part of your journey. Figuring it out is part of your journey. Then working through it is a part of your journey. Modifying, that's all a part of your journey. So somebody else coming in and being like, "Hey, you need to change this."
Yeah.
Like, have you looked in the mirror on the things you should change
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
before you came to me with that?
Exactly. Don't come to me with your BS if you don't have your shit 100% buttoned up and put together.
Yeah, which nobody does.
Yep. Which nobody does.
Which
Exactly.
nobody does.
That's my point. Exactly.
So we're back at no, don't listen to anyone's opinions.
Yep. There you go.
Uh, have you gotten in this whole journey? You've talked about different things that you've grown through and experienced. Has there been a time that something stung and was like, ah, but then ended up being helpful in the end?
I think, yeah, like I said at the beginning of Genesis and growing Genesis, like I was very fiery and yelled a lot and got under the collar a lot and told a lot of people off and shit like that. And you learn that different people need different responses and different ways of being talked to. And again, you have all sorts of emotional intelligence around different types of employees that you have. And so I think that obviously not every if you're a hammer like me, not everything's a nail. So having that concept that you have to be, certain ways with certain people, and certain people respond better with this way of speaking, and certain people respond better with this softer way of speaking, etc. So that's part of, I think, being a good leader in general. And I think most of the stings or the pain comes from like people leaving. And you're like, "Oh, man, should I have done better?" Etcetera. Some people just suck, and that's just part of life as well, and, I'm having that conversation with a good colleague of mine who, is upset that one of his first employees is not performing the way that he he needs him to, and it's like his first employee that he has to probably end up getting rid of because he's just not doing his job.
Mm.
But he was, like, one of his first employees, and I was like, "Dude, again, what got you here won't get you there. People are gonna veer off the path and go in different directions, and look, you told them from the beginning what direction you were going in, and you were going in that direction, then it's not your fault that they left. It's not your fault that they went this way or that way." I've been telling people forever that Genesis is going to have, over 100 locations. We're going to be in 50 states. We're going to be the biggest, med spa group, the Procter and Gamble of the medical field in the world. And are we even close to that? No, not even close to that. And have there been a bunch of people that have left? Yeah, there's a ton of people that have left. But at the same time, that doesn't change me from the vision that I have for what we're doing and where we're going, period. And so it's okay to have those people who will leave. It's okay to have, the critics and the toxic people and everything like that. As long as you go back to saying, like, this is what I want to build and this is what I want to do, and you're not doing it for other people at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you're doing it for something bigger than you.
You are 100%.
Well, and you think about that, it's what do you risk by not doing it? And
Hmm.
it's the lives that you do help because of what your vision is and what the end goal is. Like, it's a lot of people's lives being impacted in a positive way.
Yeah.
So if there's a few people that don't see that or at some point need to go a different direction, that's okay
Yep.
because there's a lot more on the other end of it than that one person.
Yeah. And it's still gonna suck. It's still gonna hurt every time someone leaves. Still gonna feel betrayed every time someone goes somewhere else. That's never I don't think that's ever gonna improve. Sorry,
Yeah.
it doesn't. And talking with my colleagues, it doesn't. I mean, the only way it improves is that you just don't know those people. You get so big that you have no idea who gets hired where and who's leaving when, so they're not
Mhm.
tight to you in the process of growing a company.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought too. That's true. I think a lot of people are just terrified of, being misunderstood, being wrong for reasons that we talked about, being disliked. What we said through this whole podcast really is it's part of what you're signing up for.
Mhm.
It's it.
You want to build a business, you wanna build something great, you wanna be something great. Somebody's gonna be mad at you at some point. Somebody's gonna give you critiques at some point, and you can't live by people clapping for you. You have to live by true principles, and if you have thought it through and through, if you live by your core values, and you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can say, "Yep, this is who I am and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it," then look, the all the noise and the bullshit, it's all gonna fade away. All the critics will fade away. You won't hear any of them. You'll build so big and be so high up that you can't hear them screaming from the dredges of wherever they are. And integrity, that never goes away, period. So always keep your integrity when you're trying to do anything and when you're doing anything, and you'll never lose.
Love it. So if you're listening to this and you're pulling tips that you are putting into your business and into your life, we want to know about it. We have
Yeah.
a lot of podcasts. If you've listened to the podcast, we get people tagging us that they're listening to the podcasts every week. And so if you're taking the things that we say and that we discuss and going like, okay, I'm going to implement that or that or that, whatever it is, we want to know how it's working out for you. So fill us in, let the other listeners know the key takeaways that you've gotten and how it's helped your business, your life, and how you lead at home and at work. So we want to know about it.
All right, guys. We'll end there. Have a good one.